Hi everyone, it is TheoryGames here, and welcome to a new LP I'm gonna do. But this is actually part 0, if that's a little weird to you. Because what I'm doing, as you can see in the description below, is a Pokemon Emerald Randomizer Nuzlocke. And instead of making the first part really long and discussing what Nuzlocke is and all that in one part, we're going to be making part 0, as a lot of people do with these sort of LPs, and just talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing in it and just the rules and regulations for it. Now then, yeah, all you're going to see is a black screen in this video, but it's going to be me talking. And I might add some cool stuff, but probably not because I'm lazy. But anyway, this video is not going to be very long at all. But anyway, then the rules. I'm just gonna be pretty much reading the rules, and then after I read the rule, I'm gonna be saying if I'm gonna be using that or not. And then if I am, I'm gonna be probably having a little twist, and then in the end, I'm gonna be doing some optional rules. I'm gonna be talking about all the rules in general, the optional rules, and then I'm gonna be talking about what I'm gonna be doing, like the extra things I'm gonna be adding. So then, rules. The most basic Nuzlocke rules, as they were first introduced, are as following. 1. Any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and must be released. And then also later on they added in, like, can also be put in their PC forever, but I'm going to be releasing it, but something I'm going to be doing is this video, it might have a sidebar, it might not. I don't know if I'm going to be making a sidebar or not for this video, but there's going to be a circular rectangle. It's gonna be one of those things that don't really have like the edges. It's gonna be very just like ovaled around the edges, and then in there is gonna be like the death box, and I'm gonna be putting the sprites of all the Pokemon that have died in there. So then we could sort of like keep them in memory. But yeah, I will be releasing them. Number 2. The player may only catch the first Pokemon encountered in each area and none else. If the first Pokemon encountered faints or flees, there are no second chances. If the first encounter is in an area double battle in dark grass, the player may choose which 2 Pokemon they would like to catch. The dark grass is only applied to black and white, so and white to black too, because that's when that was first introduced, and X and Y. But so we're gonna completely forget that. But I will be following that rule, except for the fact that okay, I was gonna talk about this in my separate rules, like the ones I made up, but this actually goes really well with that one. Let's say that I have a combustion and I find and it dies, and I get that in the wild, and then I find a Torchic. Now then, I can get that Torchic if I choose to. If it's my first encounter, I can get it, but I'm not allowed to have it into a combustion, because what I'm doing is another rule, which I'm actually be saying right now. You may not have duplicates of a Pokemon, dead or alive, so I can have 2 of the same Pokemon. So, in retrospect, but let's just say that we have a Pokemon like Wurmple, and we have one Wurmple that evolved. We have one Wurmple that evolved into a Silcoon, and then I catch another Wurmple. That's fine. But if that Wurmple also evolved into a Silcoon, I have to release one of them. Like with those, it's pretty hard to really like know which one it's gonna branch off to. But back to the combustion thing, I can have a Torchic, but I can never evolve it. I cannot catch another combustion in the wild, but I can get a Blaziken, because the one reason why I can never evolve Torchic is because it will turn into a combustion, and I can't. There can be no duplicates of what is dead and versus what is alive. So so pretty much I'm looking for most of the time in the wild either I'm not really looking for last evolutions, because I'm either looking for first evolution, so if they die I have other chances, or if I find like a last evolution or a middle evolution, I keep that one alive. So yeah. Number 3. While not exactly a definite rule, the general consensus is that players must also nickname all their Pokemon for the sake of forming stronger emotional bonds. I will be doing that, and what I'll be doing is each time I get a Pokemon, if it's a girl, I look at the first letter in the name. So let's say I find a Poochyena. If it's a boy, I would name him Peter. If it's a girl, I would name her Patricia. I'm gonna be doing, but even as a Mightyena, they'll still have that name, so I'll know if they're still alive, like where they came from. Because if it's a Mightyena, it'll be like Margaret and Mark. So yeah. Number 4, also not a definite rule, but the general consensus is that a blackout/whiteout is considered to be game over, even if there are Pokemon left in the PC. I am not going to be playing that rule. I just remember that rule as I read it. And as long as there is at least one Pokemon in the PC that I can use, I will be using it. So then, yeah. But it might be like 30 levels under, which will be a bad. But you know what? It's fine. Strongly implied, number 5. Strongly implied, though not explicitly mentioned in the comics, is the stipulation that the player can only use Pokemon they have captured themselves, meaning traded Pokemon, mystery gifts, etc. are prohibited. Trading and retrading the same Pokemon for the purpose of evolving Graveler, for example, is something of a gray area and may fall under optional rules. As of White Hardcore Episode 3, it is implied that the player can accept Pokemon they have received freely from NPCs. So that cast form that's in the weather station, I can get that. So then that's pretty much all it's saying, and I'm not playing that rule. So I am playing that rule. Number 6, also strongly implied, is the prohibition against voluntarily resetting and reloading the game when things go wrong. Be able to do so would render all the other rules pointless. So yeah, so pretty much what happens. And what I'm going to be doing is after each death, I will be saving my game. So then if my game crashes, I can't relive the death. And then here are some optional rules. Though the above rules tend to stay constant with all challenges, many optional variations and amendments to the rules also exist to further adjust difficulty. These include, but are not limited to, number 1, starter Pokemon is based off the player's trainer ID number. If the last number is 1 through 3, the player starts with a grass type. 4 through 6 is fire type, 7 through 9 is water type, and 0 is the player's choice. Now then, I'm going to be doing a similar rule to that. I was thinking about no because it's a randomizer, but what I'm going to be doing is 1 through 3 is on the far right, 4 through 6 is in the middle, and then 7 through 9 is the far left. No, wait, 1 through 3 is far left, middle is 4 through 6, and then and then 7 through 9 is far right, and then 0, I can choose any one of them. So I will be doing that. Species and dupes clause, adjusting the first encounter rule to ban duplicate captures. I pretty much discussed that. I'm not going to be able to catch the same exact one, but if there's a part of the evolutionary line, and I mean, if it's a Torchic, I'm not going for it. But if it's a Blaziken, I will go for it, because if I had a Combusken already, I'm not going to be wanting a Torchic and then just keep a Torchic. Well, that happened. Sorry about that. So yes, excuse that. I sort of just clicked down on my keyboard. So yeah. As an extension, setting a limit on how many dupes clause can trigger in an area. If that limit is reached, no Pokemon can be caught in that area. Even though this might not happen, it has happened before to other people, but they haven't done randomizers. But I'm going to be doing a set of 5. If 5 Pokemon are either part of the evolutionary line that I do not want, or I've already caught in, I cannot get it. And number 4, not officially enforcing the rules upon the player as has Pokeballs and can catch Pokemon. For example, the Poochyena in Ruby and Sapphire and the Zigzagoon in Emerald that the player has to save Professor Birch from is not counted as the first encounter on the route, and not counting any other encounters such until they can catch. Likewise, in the games where rival battles immediately after the starter Pokemon, any that faint must be released rule is not enforced at that time. Use the same amount of Pokemon as the opponent. Okay, so then that is pretty much stating that until we get the Pokeballs, which is after probably for me going to be part 3, any encounters that we have do not count. And then number 5 is use the same amount of Pokemon as the opponent during a gym battle or rival battle. I'm not doing that because I'm gonna be following the route rule, and that's sort of just and I'll add that to my rules I'm also gonna be doing. Number 6, use the where am I? Going to options and making the battle style set, leaving the player unable to switch out. I am not doing that either because I feel like that would add a lot of difficulty, but I will just not do that. After the first wild Pokemon, this is number 7. After the first wild Pokemon was caught, the starter Pokemon must be released. I am not doing that either because it is a randomizer. 7. Banning the use of potions and healing items, relying only on Poké Centers for healing. Now then, I'm thinking about this, and what I may do is I may limit the amount of healing items I have to about 10 each. So then during the Elite Four, I'm gonna have to really think about, well, who do I want to save more, and like who am I gonna need later on if I even make it to the Elite Four. I don't even know how far I'm gonna make it. And then this is almost the opposite one. This is, I believe, is number 8 or number 9. Banning the use of Pokemon centers, relying only on potions and healing items for healing. And I am not doing that in the slightest. Hold on. Okay, so that was number 9. Number 10, limiting Poke Centers visits to a certain number per town. I may do that later on, but it might be an insane amount, like 10 as well, because I'm going to need a lot of healing, because I'm going to be doing a lot of training. Banning the use of held items, I'm not going to be doing that. Limiting the numbers of Pokeballs to purchase per Pokemart, I'm not going to be doing that. Banning the use of Master Balls, I think I only got 1 in the game, so I mean, I'm not doing that. Rather than releasing the Pokemon, it can be permanently boxed, migrated, or transferred with Poke Transfer should it happen to faint. I am not doing that. The player may not evolve captured Pokemon, but evolved Pokemon may be caught. I'm not doing that, and that one sounds really hard. Turning the difficulty on okay, yeah, that one is for Black 2 and White 2. Not catching unless using any legendary Pokemon. I'm not doing that, but what I'm doing is I'm not having the unfair advantage of like the first gym having a Mewtwo. So pretty much I've turned off the like getting a legendary starter, and I believe getting a legendary in the wild. So pretty much that leaves just with the trio, the Reggies, and Latios and Latios. And then as a mercy rule, allowing 1 to 3 second chances or revive the fallen team members. I do that a lot, like revive them, and I'm gonna give myself 1, and I'll probably keep that somewhere on the side on the sidebar. Well, actually no, I'm gonna give myself 3 second chance. I'm gonna give it the max amount. So then it's almost like, let's say we have. I'm gonna probably, my goal is to try to save those for the Elite Four. That's my goal. I'm gonna probably bring 5 revives to that. Actually, no, I can only bring 3. So those are gonna be my second chances. So pretty much, yeah. So I will actually be doing that. Another mercy rule: if the player runs into a shiny Pokemon, the player may still catch it regardless whether or not it is the first encounter in the area. It also does not need to be released if it faints. I will be doing that, and I will be not releasing it if it faints. But also, yeah. As another mercy rule, each gym badge acts as a checkpoint. If the player gets a game over, they can start where they got their previous gym badge. I'm not doing that if it's I'm not doing the game over idea either, unless if I have more Pokemon in my PC. Another one is, oh my god, there's a lot of stuff. If the player has no Pokemon that can use a certain field move that is required to continue through any given point of the game, they may catch another Pokemon that can learn said field move. However, it cannot be used in battle for any reason and must be released, permanently boxed, or migrated as soon as the player gets another Pokemon that can use said field move. I will be doing that, and I will be permanently boxing it just in case if that Pokemon were to die. So I'm not going to be releasing that. And then modify the first encounter only rule for the Safari Zone. That's pretty much stating that in the Safari Zone. In the Safari Zone, I don't remember about Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but I'm gonna be giving myself 5 Pokemon. So it's not gonna be only 1 and then the whole Safari Zone is done. I'm gonna be giving myself 5 chances to catch them, and that's gonna be pretty hard. Sometimes allowing 1 encounter of each area or until they catch 1 Pokemon in the entire area, and vice versa. I may actually do like 1 Pokemon in the entire area, but that sort of like limits it. Like, oh, I really want this Pokemon, and then yeah, and then but also I'm gonna be doing a I'm gonna be doing the first 5 Pokemon. So yeah, so I pretty much have like a limit on it. Banning the use of Pokemarts, not doing. Disallowing fleeing, not doing. Setting a level limit based on the next gym leader / champion's highest level Pokemon. What must happen to any team members that surpass that before taking the gym leader or Elite Four is up to the player. That is a very interesting one because I'm actually doing that, and I didn't know that was on the optional rules. But I'm not making it just the player. I'm gonna make it 2 levels above the highest level Pokemon, just because I got really worried about that. And if we have Pokemon that aren't good against that type, we're gonna need to at least have a little bit of levels against them, so we at least can sort of have a chance. And then if they were to surpass that level, I would put them into the PC and not use them. So then banning Pokeballs entirely, any Pokemon and team must be either given to the player or hatched from an egg. I'm not doing that. That's more of an egg lock. Banning use of the daycare to breed or level up Pokemon. I am not going to do that either. I'm going to be doing a lot of them manually. Many other rules exist. Challengers address their personal rules according to their own preferences. In order to be considered a true Nuzlocke challenge, however, the core rules must be in place. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the main thing. Those are pretty much the main rules. One rule I am gonna add is I'm not gonna be using the PC unless a Pokemon dies and need to swap it out, or if it gets surpasses the level. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I hope you all tune in for the first part of my Pokemon Emerald Randomizer Nuzlocke challenge. I hope you all enjoyed this very long, very boring first part, zeroth part, if you will. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and hopefully the first part of Emerald is going to be out later this week. So yeah, I hope to talk to you all next time, guys. Bye.